Hello, people. I'm Milton Miranda, and this is your English class for my group of English Level 2 at ITSA. I hope you have enjoyed and learned more vocabulary about feelings and emotions from the video in the previous section of this lesson. And now we are going to cover past simple tense, the explanation how it works, and some examples. And also we are going to understand with examples and exercises how to work with this and what is the best way to develop and create sentences and tenses and some paragraphs at the end of this lesson. But first, let's start with the goals. What I'm looking with this lesson, what I want you, my students, get at the end. Well, I hope my students will practice the past simple of regular and irregular verbs, and also practice past time expressions used with this type of sentences. Also, my students will learn how to talk about what happened in the past. You are going to learn how to express past habits, maybe, or past actions. You are going to tell me, for example, what you did yesterday, what you did last week, what have you been doing maybe this week that I haven't seen you because of the coronavirus. And also, you are going to talk about people's lives, some short biographies, and how to write them. Well, let's start. To start, we are going to read some about soccer heroes. Do you know him? I'm not sure. He's a famous soccer player, but I'm not sure that you really know him. He's a real legend of the soccer. He is Ferenc Puskas. Who was Ferenc Puskas? Ferenc Puskas was a great soccer player, and he was born in Hungary in 1929, 27, sorry. He lived in Kispest, a village near Budapest. Puskas played first for the Kispest team, then for Budapest Honvéd, and then for the Hungarian national team when he was 18. Puskas only used his left foot, but he was a fantastic player who always scored goals. He got married in 1949, and he and his wife Erzsébet had a daughter, Anneke. After the Hungarian Revolution in 1956, Puskás and his family moved to Austria and then Italy. Lots of clubs, including AC Milan, Juventus, and Manchester United, wanted to sign him, but in 1958 he went to Spain to play for Real Madrid. In 1962, he changed his nationality to Spanish and he joined the Spanish national team. Puskas retired in 1966 and he died in 2007. Well, maybe you know about the award that actually is given in the World Championship. It's the Puskas Prize. It's in honor to this soccer player. And this example was how to talk about people lives, how to talk about when they were born, where, and as you could notice, all the tenses in this piece of text are in past tense. The verbs are highlighted in bold. I mean negrita. For example, moved, wanted, went, changed, retired, joined, died. Those are verbs in past tense. We use the past tense when we want to talk about past activities or past events, activities that were done in a previous time to this one. When you want to talk about what you did yesterday or about what your a family member did last week or what we were doing about maybe last class, last year, last vacation, you have to use past simple tense. Now, past simple has different forms. The first one is the affirmative. The past simple is the tense used to express finished actions. And remember, finished actions in the past. We have two kinds of verbs for the past affirmative. We have regular verbs that we have been working before we had the midterm. For example, the regular verbs are those that finish in id at the end. For example, play, played, work, worked. And we also have irregular verbs. When we look for a list of irregular verbs, we have to use the second column. The first one is the base form, the form that we can find in a dictionary, and the second column is the list of irregular verbs. Here you can find how these verbs change into the past because they don't follow the rule about ed. They have a different form when we use the past, and you already know some of them. For example, go in past is went, or eat, comer, in past is ate. You need to study and learn these irregular verbs in the past. But now, let's remember, some irregular verbs have different forms in past. For example, in the past affirmative, we have, for example, I cleaned my room, or you cleaned your room, he cleaned his room. Here, we need to review how to pronounce the ed form of the past verbs. And remember, all the regular verbs need the ed form at the end of the verb. By the other hand, we have irregular verbs. They change when you use them in the past, and you need to study and learn one by one these verbs because there is no an easy way or shortcut to learn them. They don't follow a rule. You need to learn them one by one. Maybe you can start with the most common. For example, go, that transformed into went, as in the example, I went home. It is I go, but not now, in the past. Okay? Now, let's talk about some different forms. For example, when we are talking about regular verbs, there are different rules about how to write them into past. For example, not only we need to add ed at the end, some of them has different forms. For example, we have here three different situations or rules when you need to add ed to the verb. For example, number one, when a verb ends in a CVC, I mean consonant, vowel, consonant, you need to double the final consonant and then you add ed at the end. For example, stop, stopped, ban, banned, beg, begged. You can notice in this chart that they are CVC verbs, consonant, vowel, consonant, and you need to repeat the last consonant before adding ed. Next, we can find some verbs that end already in e, and in this case, you don't need to add ed, you just need to add the d at the end. For example, live, lift, hate, hate, assume, assume, free, freed. In this case, as you can see, those verbs don't need the ed form because they already have the e. You just need to add the d at the end. Finally, we can find some verbs that ends in consonant plus y. In this case, you need to change that y, the j in Spanish, and you change it into I, y latina, and add the ed form. For example, study, you take out the y and change into IED. So study, studied, cry, cried, dirty, dirtied, magnify, magnified. Now, let's start practicing, and please Complete these sentences with the verbs in bold, negrita, in the past simple. The first one is already done. It is a nice day today. The verb here is the verb to be, is. In the past is was. So it was cold on the weekend. I talk to my mother on the phone every day. That's a routine, so I use present simple. But what's the correct form to complete this verb into the past? I to her this morning. Remember, use the same verb at the beginning of the sentence, but right here in the past form, in the id form if it's regular, or in the irregular way. Okay, practice a little and complete the exercises as follows.